Hey all, and welcome back to Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. I've done my time with the power character. Let's switch to something that I'm maybe a little bit more comfortable with. I haven't shown off handling yet. Who's a good handling character? Oh, Rusty Rose is a handling character. This is interesting because this is one of the designs from Sonic Prime, which I have not yet watched. I don't know if I'm going to get around to watching it or not. I'm not going to use the Minecraft or the fucking SpongeBob shit yet. When I get to showing off the DLC, which will probably be its own series, I'll show off some of the DLC carts and stuff. But for now, I'm going to stick with the stuff that was available at launch. Oh... Cream and Cheese versus Metal Sonic. You know what, I will be a bit ballsy. I'll have Cream and Cheese. Even though, like, for Amy, Metal Sonic would be the obvious rival because of CD. But we'll go with Cream here. And we'll go through the Pumpkin Grand Prix with Crystal Mine, Ocean View and Pumpkin Mansion. And it looks like I've missed a lot of the red rings along the way, so... let's see whether I can fill in my gaps here or whether I'm just going to take the same routes as last time and miss them again just like last time. Crystal Mine, not the same Crystal Mine area as we saw in Black Knight, sadly, because that would have been like a really cool theme for a racetrack. Basically, any of these settings from the storybook games would be nice to see as a racetrack, and if they ever did any more non-crossover DLC, I would like to see a bit of representation there. Maybe the one, I forget what the actual area is called, but the one where An Awakening Float played in Secret Rings, that would be a really good theme. Night Palace, that's the one, Night Palace. Like, that would be a really good track to have. And... like, yeah, like, say the crystal level from Black Knight would be cool. This is naturally going to end up being one of those things where I think, like with Generations, where I think up all these different areas I would love to see, all these other levels I would love to see come back, and then I don't get any of them. Although saying that, I did end up getting Shadow Generations eventually, which did have some really good picks, so... It took them like another decade, but we eventually got something cool. Let's see what frenzy's going on here, seeing as I'm at the front and get the pick. It's the dinosaur track again, but I'm not going to complain about dinosaurs. This is what I was saying, it's nice to have a bit of the storybook game representation. But it looks like our bonus here is once again the quicker drift, which I'm going to abuse because I doubt the AI are abusing it quite as much as I am right here. Alright. I think I've got a bit of a safe lead right now over Cream and Cheese. Looks like whatever I did there, like I didn't time it close enough to scare off that thing that was chasing me, but it got bored of chasing me anyway. I remember this track, when I was trying to get the good runs down of all the GPs for SD playthroughs, I seem to remember this track giving me a bit of shit, which is why I'm a little bit more on edge right now. Even though there's a good chance that was just coincidence. Oh, I don't like that thing because it slows you down for so long even after your cart has recovered from it. Oh, I got Cream. I do like that it gives you that little notification on which character in particular you fucked over. Makes me feel a little bit of sadistic satisfaction. I really should not have let go of that, because that would have come in handy if something was close behind me. Oh, I beat regular Amy that time. That's nice. Let's see, how close are they? They are close. Actually, we did get a gadget last time, didn't we? Can I change this here? I think all you can do is change between your presets in between races, which makes sense. That's kind of the point of having presets, but it does make me curious which gadget it was I unlocked last time and skipped past. You need to try harder at being a more tolerable character. Surprising nobody, we do have a Seaside Hill Ocean Kingdom level in the game. They kind of don't get the hint yet that Heroes, its theming is also a bit bland. It's not quite as bad as Lost World, but it's also still not exactly appealing, especially compared to, like, say, the adventure games, these kind of settings that they had, that they featured and whatnot. Even, like I was saying, the storybook games had some really interesting locales. 06 had some interesting locales. Unleashed had some good ones, but they always seem to use the same two. Like, a race through Eggman Land would be neat. Like, they did kind of reuse that in Generations with the Egg Dragoon boss, but actually having a proper level or a proper racetrack for that somewhere would be nice. In fact, just in general, I think having a level on the scale of Eggman Land again would be really nice. There's something that I appreciated that Spark the Electric Jester 3 did, in the fact that there was like an in-game level that you kind of did have to be on top of. I guess I have to show off the Holoska track here. This is one of my favourite CrossWorlds areas. Like, this is absolutely beautiful. The lighting, just the general snowy area at night theme. I was just complaining about them only using two. To give them credit, they used the third one here, and it was one of the best ones they could have used. And it's got a really good layout as well, because you get to use both the boat and the plane here. The plane part here that I'm doing is optional, but I think you can get a bit of a... Like, I think it's faster to use the plane overall, unless you really know what you're doing with a boat. Yeah, Holoska at night was always one of the better looking aesthetics from Unleashed, and Unleashed is art as it is. So, the fact that we now have that in 4K, like, even the fact that King Boom Boo got me, he can't even ruin my mood here. Go back through Seaside Hill. Like, I've kind of been suitably charmed by Holoska, so I can just go through the motions again in Seaside Hill and not be too concerned by that. Okay, cool. I didn't fall off there. I quite often fall off there at that point of the track. I do feel like it was kind of a strange choice to remix a bit of Toot Toot Sonic Warrior in this, but they've kind of done that with so many of these Seaside Hill areas now in these games that I'm just kind of used to it. I kind of mentally have come to associate it with it almost as much as the actual Seaside Hill theme. I'm just missing one red ring here, which is kind of annoying when I see it like that, but I'll live. Okay, we did get a bit of a preview of Pumpkin Mansion in an earlier track as the CrossWorld that it gave us, but here we get to go through the whole thing and see just how fitting for a Halloween themed level it actually is. And I will say, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this being a vague... I messed that up again. Like, being a vague reference to Pumpkin Hill and Skyrail, compared to, like, if they made it much more obvious. It's like... I was very indecisive about which route I wanted to take there. Like, the SA2 fanboy in me would love to have, like, a very obvious, like, here's the SA2 level. And I kind of feel that with other settings as well. Like, I would like to have a Space Colony Arc level. That would be really cool. That's, like, based on Final Rush. But also, just in general, I do like it when they think outside the box a little bit with the track choices, rather than just thinking like, okay, we have to borrow this level from this game. I think there's a place for both original and lifted levels in a game like this. That's a little bit embarrassing. That Sweet Mountain, I think I'll go with random and just... I think the cream was a little bit disappointed here. Oh, this is another one of the main in-game tracks that we'll probably see properly later. Or we will see properly later, given for this playthrough I am showing off everything. And that's another thing that this game does much better than Team Sonic Racing, in that it doesn't just shamelessly reuse tracks across multiple GPs. That was a very bizarre decision that they made in that game, where they would reuse a couple of the tracks across multiple GPs, but there were also tracks that only showed up in the story mode and the individual track selections that weren't assigned to GPs. Like the Final Fortress levels, which was a very strange way of handling things. Oh, I did that too early to defend myself. Although it seemed to have disappeared through the CrossWorlds selector, so that's okay. Oh, fuck off. I would have taken the other thing over Kim Boom Boo. It's not Crash this time. This track takes advantage of the CrossWorlds like setting. I do think this is kind of showing off its flexing in a similar way to how Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart did. This section of the level, visually speaking, is very cool. This is like a direct nod to Hang Castle from Heroes, but that's cool. But yeah, like, it's flexing that it can load things much quicker than a lot of the older games did. And the SSD is probably helping. I'm playing this on my SSD, although this game, not only can you run it on older hard drives, from what I know, like, the specs aren't that high, but it also has a Switch 1 version, so I'm curious how well that effect works there. Whether there was some kind of accommodation, or whether they just dialed back the special effects on it or not. Because I imagine the Switch version is very limited compared to this. This game's doing quite a lot of just flaunting things, and like when I was saying in the earlier part how this game looks really stylish, it's definitely taking advantage of the fact that it's not on super old hardware now, which again, that makes me curious just how much of a mess the Switch version is. I know the Switch 2 version got delayed, which seems strange that wasn't there at launch. Unless they were just conscious of going up head to head against Mario Kart, and that was kind of their, give it a grace period approach. Not sure how effective that in itself would have been, but we'll see when it comes out, I guess. So this is the kind of music that I think these racing games do best, and this game in particular does really well. When you get the cool electric guitar sounds going on, this is the kind of butt rock that I like from Sonic, and the kind of butt rock that just complements racing in general. I feel like there's a reason why Agent Snowy was brought in for Sonic in the first place, because the music that Sons of Angels, as they were known back then, Crash 40 were doing for some of the older Sega racing games, it's just like a perfect fit. And like, Jun knows how to make a hype racing song. And I think him being less involved in this compared to Team Sonic Racing kind of... it shows. Because like, for as much as I will rip apart Team Sonic Racing for being like the most mid Sonic racer, the music was absolute take. It's not just that it's Toot Toot Sonic Warrior, it's the fact that it's Toot Toot Sonic Warrior with the count-ins as like the substitute for the lyrics. Even though, as far as I understand from the Sonic Origins re-release CD, I'm pretty sure they managed to resolve whatever licensing issues they were having with the lyrics originally. But I guess it's just something that's become a staple with these racing games now. No, that's rude. I was enjoying my burst of speed there, thank you very much. Doing a... oh, come on! This is not fair, by which I mean it is fair, and technically I'm the one cheating using the broken gadgets, but God, I cannot see chandeliers in anything without thinking that one Only Fools episode. It's like such a formative memory for me of like how funny it is to see chandeliers falling. Can whatever item's chasing me like come off my tail, please? That would be nice. Eat shit, Silver. I need to be careful and stop idiotically driving off-road. I think I have this. There we go. That was a bit of a frame drop there, and I'm not sure how... like, there's a few frame drops here and there that I've had, so I don't know how much of it's just me trying to push my luck with the settings.
Oh, well, good job. I'm happy for you.
But I have a 4070 Ti Super, so I should be able to run this without too many blips. But I am running it at 4K 60 and on fairly high settings too, so maybe I'm pushing me luck. That's it, you dance like a madman, Robot Girl. Because I'm doing GPs, I'm sort of bleeding my way through these. What I'm going to do before I sign off, since I forgot last time, I didn't check what gadget I unlocked last time, so let's have a little look. By participating in a race, gadgets for enhancing specific machine types are being added. I'm pretty sure I've seen this tutorial before. But let's have a look. I've got the machine type kit. So getting more rings and accelerating with them. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to use this. So I'm going to go back to my safe setup. And I think that will do me for now. So ladies and gentlemen, join me next time for more Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. See you then.